So let's read as much of this article as I can stand. TheDailyBeast.com. Ukrainian American actress Mila Kunis says Russians are not the enemy. If Russians ain't the enemy, then who? Is it the plutocrats? Who's the enemy? If it's not the Russians. All right, so Mila Kunis, she's an actress. She was part of that 70s show. She was in some movies, and I guess that's about it, right? And she's been able to turn that around. She's able to raise like $30 million fucking dollars just on her name and celebrity. They're gonna match $3 million, but $27 million from GoFundMe. Fucking A. It shows not only just Ukrainian a love for Ukraine, but a strong love for Ukraine. Now, Mila Kunis has not always loved Ukraine. And it's, she's saying that Russians are not the enemy. She used to go around telling people that she was actually Russian. When she came to America when she was 7 or 8 years old around 1991 during the collapse of the Soviet Union, she's got this story where people would say, hey, Mila Kunis, what country are you from? And she would say Ukraine. And then they would say, where, huh? Because Americans are dumb, right? They don't know where the fuck Ukraine is. Where's Ukraine? And it's only the biggest fucking country in goddamn Europe. It's only got 46 million motherfucking people in it. You know how many people's in goddamn California? 40 million. There's 40 million people in California. So there's 6 more million people in Ukraine than there are in California. And it's about the same size as Texas, the largest country in Europe. The second, number 2, would be France, and that's if you don't include Russia. So the biggest fucking country with 46 million people in it, we're not going to defend, we're not going to stand up. Okay. So Ukrainian actress Mila Kunis, along with her husband Ashton Kutcher, the actress is hoping to raise $30 million. They already raised 18. They raised 18 million like a couple days ago. Mila Kunis was born in Nipsy, Ukraine in 1983. Migrated, she's like 38, 39, migrated to the U.S. with her family when she was 7, with her mother and her father, maybe some others. And so Mila Kunis, she says that she feels like an American. She's from L.A. People are like, God, you're so Eastern European, and yeah, she is. And Mila Kunis is like, Eastern European? No, I'm from L.A. I'm an American. I'm from Los Angeles. And so when it comes to her national identity, she, identifies with being an American. She identifies with being an LA-ian, a Los Angelosian. But despite her sense of American identity, witnessing the humanitarian crisis in the Ukraine, Mila Kunis has felt deeply connected to her Ukrainian heritage. She says, after this happens, the invasion, I can't express or explain what came over me. But all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, I feel like a part of my heart just got ripped out. According to another clip from the interview, that 70s show star had been trying to share her newly uncovered Ukrainian pride with her children. She explains how she has always described herself as Russian in spite of being born in the Soviet Ukraine. In Soviet Ukraine, we say we are Russian so they don't kill us. In Soviet Ukraine, the Russians will... Okay, so it never mattered so much that I've always said I'm Russian. So she didn't give a shit, right? She probably was embarrassed, right? Like, dang, I gotta explain to these dumb Americans where the fuck this goddamn place is, this poor ass backwards. Basically it's got all the, Transylvania, all the weirdness of Russia, but it's even more unfamiliar, which doesn't make sense because it's like the corridor. It's like the main corridor. How the hell did you get to Russia if you didn't go through Ukraine? And so now she's like, hell no, I'm from Ukraine, right? Hell no, we won't go, Ukraine. You must be insane in the membrane if you don't admit that you're from Ukraine. She loves Ukraine now, right? She just loves Ukraine. Maybe too much. Mila Kunis still does not want Russian civilians to be seen as the enemy. She says it's the people in power, not the people themselves. So it's kind of actually super fucked up. Like, the more I read into this, So Mila Kunis, she's not going to consider Ukraine, anything to her, but she goes there to visit family and friends, and she's got like fucking property and shit there. So you're going to pretend that Ukraine ain't shit, and then now we're going to protect the Russians. So I bet you I wonder, this is so fucking important because this is nationalism on nationalism. If Mila Kunis felt like she was more Russian, that's why she was saying Russian. Well, that's a lot different than her just, saying that she didn't want to explain the Ukraine. So, stupid Americans, they don't know where the fuck, the Ukraine is, but they know where Russia is. But frankly, if Mila Kunis would have told me that she was from Russia, I'd be like, get the hell out of here. No, you're not. You are Eastern Ukrainian. And no, you're LA. Okay, you could be LA. You could be American. That's fine. I mean, we're a melting pot. So, but Russian? Nah, you're not Russian. Might as well just say you're from Scandinavia. Where are you from? Goddamn Sweden? Where are you from? Iceland? Where are you from? Denmark? And my mother was a German and my father was English. No, Mila Kunis, you're a gypsy. You're Eastern, European. You're an Estonian. You're a Latvian. You're a Lithuanian. Polish. You're Ukrainian or Slovenian or Slovakian. Yeah, you're Eastern European. Western Ukrainian. I mean, if you want to be West, right? You're Western, but Eastern European. You're Eastern European as fuck. I mean, you're going to say China. If you're going to lie, just make up a good lie. Might as well just say South Africa or something. Say you're from China. Fuck it, Japan. Nah, I'm from Japan. You know where that's at, right? I do know where Japan's at. So, sorry that Americans are too fucking stupid to know where the goddamn Ukraine was. That's goddamn embarrassing. And now she's telling her kids, you're half Iowa, you're half Ukraine, half American, half Iowan. How many halves can you be? You can't be half all those things. And they're like, okay, I get it. So she's, indoctrinating them with nationalism now. Nationalism that she didn't have, she's overcompensating. Since she didn't love the Ukraine growing up, she's going to make her kids love the Ukraine twice as much as she did because she feels bad that she never gave a shit. But you know what? Mila Kunis, I mean, you're what, 0 to 7? Your parents got you the fuck out. They whisked you away. It was poor and terrible, right? It was poor and terrible in the Ukraine. This is when it was the Soviet Union. The communists did not do a good job feeding everybody and making the Ukraine good for everybody. So in 1991, the USSR collapsed, and, immediately they take Mila Kunis to America. So, her parents didn't like the Ukraine. That's why they didn't stay there. They didn't like the country itself. And then when she come to America, now she's, she looks Ukrainian, talks Ukrainian. She wants to become an American. She's going to public schools, and she said the entire year, the second or third grade or whatever, she just felt like a complete stranger. Because everybody's speaking a foreign language, and she can't talk to any of them. But now she's overcompensating. You're Ukrainian, you goddammit! You Ukrainian son of a bitch. And that's important. You Ukrainian son of a bitch. Mila Kunis is also Jewish. And so when it comes to her identity, she's definitely Jewish. She's definitely, I don't know if she embraces her Jewish identity, but she was saying that her parents, it's very important that her parents, instilled the Jewish religion or culture in her. And that was important too because of that's important to her, personal story, because the Soviet Union were atheists, so they were trying to stamp out religion, on top of Ukrainian identity. So they were trying to stamp out both of her, Ukrainian and her Jewishness. So she's definitely an American. She's definitely an L-A-E-N, and she's definitely a Jewishian. But when it comes to her Ukrainian roots, it's taken a while for her to embrace her Ukrainian roots. So, it's understandable, but I think, as she gets older, I think she's starting to appreciate, this shit more, because from 0 to 7, that's where, she was born on that soil. She was born on that land. Her parents met on that land and soil. Her formidable years, the first 7 to 8 years of her life. Abraham Lincoln only lived in Kentucky for the first, 9 years of his life or some shit. That's, that basically, that's who he is. That's, who she is. And I don't know if, yeah, I guess if I needed to like send money back to Kentucky, I would feel, I don't know. I mean, I could see how she, both loves and hates the Ukraine. So, yeah, Americans are just so stupid. Where's the Ukraine? You're from Ukraine? That's not a country. She said she's from a Ukraine. All right, Russia. Yeah, I know where Russia's at. Okay, I'm Russian, basically. Well, hell, why'd you just say that to begin with? I will from now on. Fuck. So I think it's important to get to the heart of the matter. If Mila Kunis is trying to say that she's Russian but not a Ukrainian, she needs to, tell that to her face. If she's trying to say she's a Russian and not a Ukrainian, she needs to tell that to her DNA and her genetics. She's definitely Eastern European. Definitely Eastern European. Some kind of gypsy. If not Ukrainian, then Estonian. But she's identifying, she identifies with, I think, her Jewishness, because that was in the article. She says she's so LA, she's so American. And Iowa, she's telling her kids, you're American, you're Iowa, you're LA. But now she's also, adopting Ukrainian nationalism. And isn't that what we want? Some more nationalism in this world. Right now, Ukrainian nationalism is fighting for the oppressed. So I say be as Ukrainian nationalistic as you possibly can be, because it's fighting for the oppressed. Perhaps one day the Ukrainians will invade Russia, and it will be the Russians who are the oppressed. So there you go. Mila Kunis, Miss American, Miss Iowan, Miss LAN, Miss Jewish, Miss Jew, and now Miss Ukrainian. Now Miss Ukrainian. So, I mean, Russia. Really? Mila, you're from Russia. Tell me Serbia, Tell me Kosovo, Slovakia, Slovenia, Lithuania, Estonia. You're not Russian. God damn. I mean, that's what the people in LA, that's what Californians are thinking. Where the hell's Ukraine? God damn, this whole fucking country's a bunch of dumbass fucking Alabama motherfuckers, ain't they? My daddy's from Germany, my mom's from England. Yeah, that's about as believable as Mila Kunis is a Russian. Mila Kunis is not a fucking Russian. So it's about goddamn time Mila Kunis cares about the Ukraine. And actually, the reason why Mila Kunis started to care about the Ukraine now in 2022, she's 38 years old. It took her. The Ukraine's only 31 years old, so the Ukraine is actually younger than Mila Kunis is. But she started to care about the Ukraine when she stood, saw how the Ukrainians were standing up to Putin, how they were willing to fight and die, and thousands already have fought and died. And that inspired Mila Kunis. So it's like, shit, I guess if the Ukrainians love Ukraine, then maybe I can love the Ukraine too. And there's some badass motherfuckers, and, they have a right to defend themselves, and unless you're going to start talking to me about questioning the nation state or some other, anarcho-syndicalist idea, I don't know what the fuck your argument could possibly be. It goes against any kind of international law, right? Also, any sort of morality. What are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? So it's about goddamn time, Mila Kunis. But I'm glad you love the Ukraine now.